Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the CPRW Podcast. I'm Colin, I do Colin's Punk Rock World and CPRW Records. Almost forgot the name of my own record label there. Good start. Today we're joined by Lara and returning I guess special guest. I know, yeah, we'll call you a special guest, but Paul.
Cheers.
From Beach Art and New Crossing, who has been on this podcast as many times as he has his own. And Mike, who's also Beach Art and guitarist and lead jumper in Triple Sundae.
Thanks.
Yep. Today, because like last time Paul and Mike were on, we did like our favourite first songs on albums. And so today we're back together and we've added Lara to the mix to talk about our favourite last songs. But, how is everyone before we start? Actually, that's a polite thing to ask. How is everyone?
Yeah, all right. It's fine. I mean, we've had that kind of exit plan strategy kind of put in place, so at least we've got something to look forward to, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that has made me very busy today.
Yeah.
I think I had my first phone call at 9 a.m. and it's been phone calls and Zooms ever since.
Wow.
I had to move a 7-person one forward so that I could be here for this time. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. How's Mike?
Yeah, I'm good. I just want to say that I had a job interview this morning, and I reckon I put 6 times more effort into this list than I did that job interview. So, if you know, if we could start a salary for this, there's many reasons why I'm unemployed. This is just one of them.
Well, I appreciate this. Thank you for your efforts. Before we crack on with the last song bits, I've actually got a bit of surprise that I've not told any of you about. I had this thought last night after like watching the Palace game and being on a very big high, and I thought, I know it'll be fun. I'm going to mess with my friends. So we've got another quiz. I know how you enjoyed it before. If you're listening to on Spotify and just seeing their faces is wonderful. It's not about Beach Up this time, so you're safe. I spoke to Chloe this morning. She's in on this. Which is wonderful. So what the quiz is, I've got 2 each of your favourite bands, and I'm going to say an album, and then you have to name the next 4 of that band's albums. And if you get it right, you get a point. And points mean absolutely nothing, but it's just for fun, isn't it?
Thanks, Colin.
How's your stressful day, Paul?
Please just give me Green Day or something.
Okay, we'll start with you, and the first one is actually Green Day.
Yeah.
So 4 albums after Dookie. What are the next 4?
Insomniac, Nimrod, Warning. Do compilations count?
No.
American Idiot.
Correct. 1 point for Paul. Good job. Okay. Lara, we've got you next. I've gone for All.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Yeah. I thought you were a big All fan, so I went for All.
Oh, no, I am. I'm just not very good with timelines.
Okay. Well, the album we're starting with is Percolator, and the 4 after that.
Oh, shit. Fuck. I don't know. Colin, can I quit the quiz?
You quit the quiz. Or do you want to do my other? I have 2 for you. Do you want to do the other one? That'd be easier.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that. I'm not very good with quizzes, but yes, we'll do the other one.
This was
it's so mean, Colin.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know. I work in a supermarket and I see lots of people all the time, and I have to be polite to them. So, right. So, Blink 182.
Okay.
The 4 albums after Dude Ranch.
Okay. So, Enema of the State.
Yeah.
Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Yeah.
Self-titled.
Yeah.
I want to say I don't know much after this. I think it's Neighborhoods. And
well done.
Just 4. Okay, yeah.
Neighborhoods. Yeah. I would never have got Neighborhoods if I was doing that.
It's only because I know that's the point that I stopped listening to them and stopped liking what they were doing. So it's kind of a bit of a roadmap thing. So yeah.
Then they redeemed themselves with California.
Yeah. California is all right, but not mine.
I love it. I quite like no. When I heard Dark Side for the first time, I loved it, and I still listen to it regularly. Album, not so much, but I really like Dark Side as a single.
Yeah. They kind of, I guess they're doing their best, I suppose, but I kind of got stuck in the glory days of when Tom, before he kind of lost his mind, and did the whole Angels and Airwaves thing. So, yeah.
I mean, I have a controversial opinion that they're better live with Skibber.
Oh, okay. Right.
I think it might have been a surprise thing. I saw him at a festival in Austria, and I love Alkaline Trio anyway. I love Matt Skibber.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that he absolutely smashed lead vocals and Dysentery Gary, which is not an easy song for anyone. And I was like, Team Skibber over here.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him as well. I named one of my hamsters after Matt.
Did you see him at the O2, Mike?
I did.
Yeah.
That was like 2 days after they cancelled the Bournemouth show. I believe for voice loss reasons. But yeah, I thought they were great. It was nice to hear the songs the way that they were supposed to sound, I guess. And like, they made the point of letting Skibber choose a song on the set list. He got to choose one song, and he did "Man Overboard," and I was like, "That's
nice.
Fair enough."
Yeah.
Proper
And then
Blink
they
fan.
just had, they had the whole, like every song that had like the full like animated music video behind it, and I was just like, this is too much. Like it just wasn't very Blink. Like it was incredible to look at, but it's like, can you just do things out of time and do it wrong more often? Like
Yeah. Because the only reason I know the Blink kind of order is because I've done like a video recently on pop punk. I wouldn't have known otherwise. I would have not known what was coming after like self-titled. So
I kind of went for all of these choices, like the meat and gravy of the band's careers. So they're not too bad, right? Mike, I have to talk to Chloe about this because we only ever talk about football, so I have no idea what bands you like.
that's a good point.
Also, I'm beating you both at fantasy football. Hooray!
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Right. So Chloe suggested Chewing on Tinfoil, and they only have 4 releases. So name Chewing on Tinfoil's 4 releases.
Their discography.
Yeah. He's frozen. He ran away, leaving the jack.
he's Googling it.
I like how my internet has gone at the exact point that you needed me.
Are you Jack Coleman in disguise?
Was it about South London?
I just get a nice message saying that my internet connection is unstable, so that's useful, Zoom. Do you know what? I don't know what comes first, because I don't know if there's an EP before Get Rich or Try Iron.
I've started from Get Rich.
Okay, so it's Get Rich, and then I believe next is the Mystery EP.
Oh, that was before Get Rich on Bandcamp, so I've not included that.
And then Shaving, Marrowbone, and then Goalposts.
Yeah.
Did I miss one? Oh, sweet.
You got a Marrowbone came out in 2013 as well. That's such a long time ago.
Like, I was really surprised when I saw that the other day. Yeah, like a lifetime ago.
It still stands up as one of the best albums in the history of music.
Yeah, I was listening to it earlier, and it was amazing.
It's already my album of 2021. So.
Right. Okay. So we do some last songs, or should we go to round 2? There's only 2 rounds.
All right, go on.
There's only 2 rounds. We'll go with Paul again.
Enthusiasm.
Okay. No effects. So 4 albums after White Trash.
Am I going to fall at the first hurdle, or is it Punkin' Drublick?
No, Punkin' Drublick is first, 94.
Then Shoes.
No, you missed one. Unless
Did I?
Wikipedia
Oh
lies
no,
to me.
I did. What's it called? It's not Ribbed.
No, that was before Punkin' Drublick, I think. It's the
the
one
other
with
one.
the really inappropriate album art.
S&M Airlines.
The other one with the really inappropriate album art.
Heavy Petting Zoo.
Heavy Petting Zoo.
Yes. And then Shoes. And then what was the last one?
The one that came out in 2000 that has Dinosaurs Will Die on it and is called Pump Up the Volume.
Correct. Well done. All is smashing. Oh no, I
Good job.
don't think you got like 75% of them.
I'll take 75%.
Take 75. And you want to have another go? Well, we've got a tie-break one, I think, because you all got more rights. And that's less than Jake. You can do less than Jake.
As long as it starts in the 90s and ends in the very early 2000s.
Okay, maybe not. For Less Than Jake, I put their last 4 albums. So 4 after Anthem. They've only released 4 albums after Anthem, apparently. Like studio proper albums.
I know See the Light's one of them.
Yeah.
Is it GMVFLA?
Yeah, GMVFLA. One they released last year.
See the Light. They released an album last year?
Yeah, Silver Linings was last year.
Yeah, so you got one left, and it's their worst album. It's the really funny one.
Oh, that would be the one I don't listen to. I don't know.
I watched your YouTube video. It's the one that got stolen out of your car.
Oh shit, that one. Yeah, forgot about that one. In with the
Yes.
In with the Outcrowd.
In with the Outcrowd, yeah.
Yes.
I keep getting confused with that band that's got a similar name. But yeah, that CD got stolen from my husband's car in like 2008, and we just never bothered buying it again. It's like, oh, don't worry, take it.
I've honestly listened to 0 of those albums in full.
GMVFLA is pretty good. It's
I
quite
don't
a good
mind
one.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I struggled with Silver Linings, but I think that's mostly because Kill Lincoln released such a good ska punk album last year, and it's like the horns are quite similar, I find, for Kill Lincoln. So they play with a lot more energy and art now, and like Less Than Jake are quite fun and old.
Basically, there are new bands doing Less Than Jake better than Less Than Jake are doing it at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
That's a really good way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah. Right, and Mike, your last one. My Chemical Romance is 4 albums.
Oh, God, I wasn't expecting that.
That was me remembering you went to see My Chemical Romance when you were young.
Oh, yeah, it's like one of my first gigs.
Yeah.
The first one...
I listen when you talk to me.
Oh, fair. That makes one of us. I can't remember the first one, even though it's the best one. I can't remember the name of it.
It's got a really long name because it's emo from that era. So the
the thing is, I know the name of the last track because I was thinking about putting it on this list for today, and I can't remember what it is. Pass.
It's I brought you my bullets, you brought me something or other. I didn't write the whole thing down.
dot.
Yeah. Something about love. Okay, what's the next one then? Next
and then
easy.
3 Cheers. Sweet Revenge.
Yep.
And then there's a live album called Life on the Murder Scene. And
that's not on my list. But yeah.
And then it's Black Parade, and then it's the last one that I have listened to maybe twice ever. So I don't know
Days, is it?
Danger Days, yeah. And again, that's got a really long title. I just got bored and wrote Danger Days. I figured you'd all know what I mean. So that was my fun quiz for you to warm you up for the podcast.
It was such fun, Colin. Thank you so much.
Mike loves a quiz, especially an unexpected quiz.
Yeah,
Mike's going to come on this again, isn't he?
I'm going to come on again, and I'm going to have a quiz for you.
I'll smash it.
Just for you.
Should we go back and read like every review or whatever he's ever done and be like, yeah.
The penultimate song is called. That's why I write in everything.
Oh, Colin. Podcast seems like an appropriate time to ask this. You know the very original thing, the 52 gigs in a year?
Yes.
Is that still on the internet somewhere?
Somewhere, yes. You want me to find it?
Yeah, if you can send it to me at some point, because I want to read it again, because I remember reading it back in the day.
Yeah, it was on like a Tumblr, which is probably the worst place to write a blog. 52 gigs in a year? What an amateur. I know, right?
That's nothing.
I'd like to go to 5 this year. That would be amazing.
It's a good target.
Yeah, if people are not listening, because I should add context now. Before I started Colin's Punk Rock World, my friend Dr. Dave, who's like a professor at Cambridge now, he challenged me to go to 52 gigs in a year. And then I wrote a blog about it. And that kind of then led to... I basically thought I was Dave Gorman, if anyone gets that reference. And then that's kind of what Colin's Punk Rock World was eventually born out of.
From humble as horns.
I saw My Third Leg, and I believe I made fun of the name.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I found the blog, was because I was Googling my own band like a bell end. And I found a not insulting review. I think you said that we took over Cans of Tiger as the worst band name of the year or something.
Potentially. It was a long
Something
time
like
ago.
that. We didn't get a lot of press, so I remember it.
Yeah. I'm still just your press guy, aren't I? But anyway, yeah, last songs.
Better.
This is why we're here. Because obviously we did first songs ages ago now, so we're going to do our favourite last songs today. We thought we should probably mention like why last songs are important. And for me, I kind of think if you're listening to an album, you've made the effort to go all the way through it. That last song has to really hit you. And you think, yeah, this needs to be an epic conclusion to like this. It sounds really rubbish, but journey the album has taken you on. And that's why...
Epic is correct.
Yeah, so that's why a last song does need to be epic. Yeah.
So like, for example, like one song that's not making it onto the list but was a contender on my shortlist is What's Her Name by Green Day, because it's such a good end to such a good album, but you do need, I mean, it's a concept album, so obviously in the whole album first. It's just out of context otherwise. But like, songs like that as last songs rather than just, oh, let's just stick it on at the end.
Yeah.
That's what make the best last songs for me. Oh, see also a song that, sorry if this is on anyone's list, I'm just naming songs now. In Spite of the World, off of the Ataris, Blue Sky Broken Hearts. Mm-hmm. Again, epic song where it's just like 3 minutes of drum fills at the end. So things like that.
Yeah, I think with like last songs, I find like some bands like they feel so much like pressure to make a good impression at the start. They tend to front load an album sometimes. I think like a memorable last song is like you don't always find that, so that's what makes a good one for me, is one that you remember listening to, because it's quite easy to kind of think, oh, I know the first 3 or 4 songs off like most albums, but I maybe don't know the last ones, maybe because it's not always as much thought maybe gone into the last song, because you want to make that impact at the start. But yeah, generally, a song that kind of like winds the album down or ties it all together, I think makes a good last one. Or maybe if you can't imagine another song following it, I think that's a good sign of a good last song too. Yeah.
Like when you guys have made like albums and EPs before, like how much consideration do you put on like having what the last track is going to be?
Well, on the My Third Leg album, which you'll find nowhere,
I've got it. Email me.
Our best song is the last song, and it's always the song we ended our set with, and it's still stupid ska punk at the end of the day, but it's still, I would describe it as epic. It's got a lot of different layers to it for once. It's got a little sing-along bit.
It's more than 2 minutes long, so
yeah, like it's a solid 4 minutes, and it was very much a conscious decision to be like, that's the last song on the album. But then also because we were bad at pretty much being a band in general, the track list on our album is very similar to a live set list.
Yeah, I think quite often we played the album in full start to finish.
Yeah, it just works.
Probably because we didn't have any pen or paper, but we had the CD as merch, so just used it as a set list.
I think when we were practicing for one of our many one-off reunions, to remember, and we were going to do the album in full, obviously, because we're lazy. I think to remember the order, I actually had our Bandcamp up, like by the drum kit, just being like, right, it's this one next.
Let's listen to the first 5 seconds to be like, yeah, it's that one.
So like, yeah, I mean, from a band perspective, yeah, we very much thought about that. We were like, this is the way the album should end. Simpsons quotes as hidden tracks besides, like,
I think from the Triple Sundae point of view, we spend a lot of time and a lot of effort working out what works live, but recorded, we know that on Spotify, you've only got those first 2 tracks for people to care.
Yeah.
And so there's no, a slow building track that takes time to get into and has layers and doesn't sound typically like us, that's getting buried somewhere. And, even I think my favourite songs are normally the last ones on the EP. That's because they're the ones that I like to play, not what the audience want to hear last sort of thing. And so I think that's different to when it was like, if you're talking CDs and vinyls and where people listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, because it totally depends on how it's listened to, because obviously the way people listen to music is changing, isn't it? So I suppose the concept of a last song isn't like it was maybe like 10, 15, 20 years ago, I suppose. So, yeah.
Yeah, looking at my like massive list of songs I picked, most of them are from about 10 years ago.
Oh, at least, yeah.
All mine are between 98 and 2020.
That's quite a long period.
Which is the only, yeah. Oh yeah, still 22 years, isn't it? Oh, yeah, fair point.
Yes, quite a long time.
I'm getting on a bit, you know.
Cool. So we're going to go around in a circle. We'll suggest one song each, and then we'll do 5 each eventually, and we'll talk about each song. And at the end, of the 20 songs that we've suggested, we'll try and pick a top best song ever, best last song ever.
We did that. Like, it was very easy when we did it for the first songs. Like we all had like a top 3 like combined in mind. But yeah. I found this so much harder. Last songs are very different to first songs, and I really struggled with this. So good luck.
I don't know if we haven't just spoke out this off camera, but I would assume like me, Paul, and Mike would all have all my names friends and call me Malcolm.
We just write it off and just assume it's there.
Yeah,
I deliberately didn't choose it, but it's in my honourable mentions. Knowing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it just on the very slight off chance that Colin would assume that I did have it and didn't have it for himself. So she would say all my nameless friends is like.
Null and void.
Just
get out.
Yeah,
that's the 21st song of this 20-track comp that we're building.
Okay, and the other one then, I was going to say Ne Kiramori as well, because that's an 8-minute ska punk banger.
I've got something to say about that, which we'll get to later.
Okay, all right. All right, so I think we've rambled. Shall we?
So Call Me Malcolm, All My Nameless Friends, obviously the greatest last track of the last 5 years.
I cannot wait to see that live again at some point in my life. Yeah. I will probably have a cry.
Also, the new songs finally.
Oh yeah, they'll have more new songs by the time we get to see them again.
Yeah, knowing them, they'll have a double album ready to go. So
yeah,
excellent. Right, okay. So who's going first?
I think you are, Colin.
Oh yeah, excellent. All right, I will pick. My list is like there's 33 on there. Some of them are really niche and folk probably won't have heard of them. So I'll try and pick one that's... Okay, as we were talking about Skiba, I'm going to go Radio by Alkaline Trio.
Cool, that's one of mine too, but it's fine, I have spare.
Yeah,
that's a really good choice.
I'd say that's my favourite Alkaline Trio song of all time.
I think it is for a lot of people. Yeah, I think a lot of people agree.
It's the one that people, I guess, maybe Stupid Kid, I suppose, and the stuff from Infirmary, but I think for Radio, that's one a lot of people, when they think Alkaline Trio, they think Radio. It's always, when I've seen them live, gets massive reactions. And how it builds, how really catchy choruses, just the imagery. I mean, he's really good at imagery and lyrics anyway. It's really dark, but the imagery is just first class.
I really enjoyed him on the Chris DeMakes podcast talking about Radio.
Yeah. I was listening.
Because when I listen to Alkaline Trio, and this has been something that's been happening for 20 odd years now, I'll be like, this album, no, it's always Good Morning for me every single time. Like, I love that album so much that I don't really listen to much else by them. And I've been reminded that Radio is in fact a banger, so I appreciate it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll Catch Fire is a really underrated Trio album. Like, I don't know any of them on vinyl, but that would be the one that I'd go for first.
Yeah, I love that album. It's awesome. And it's the whole, like, with Radio as the last one, it's almost like the whole album is building up to that song. It's such a beautiful song. Yeah, good choice.
Thanks. I'm going to write these down so I don't forget what we've said. Okay, who's going next? I'll go for Mike as he's below me in the Zoom box. So we're going clockwise order.
I'm having quite a lot of problems with the lighting. I don't know if you've noticed.
It looks bright on the Penn High Street.
But if I go here, it's a bit better. Anyway, right. My first choice, I have gone for, right. My good friends in the Overjoyed. Their album Boondoggle, which finishes with Greytown. And, you know, I love the Overjoyed. I think most people love the Overjoyed who have heard the Overjoyed.
I love the Overjoyed.
And I actually came, because I was looking for a Green Day song to put on. And I was just double checking the last tracks of each Green Day album, and I realised that none of them were as good as Greytown by The Overjoyed. And so they've just out Green Day with this track. And on top of just my general love of them and many, many good memories with them, it just had to make my list.
Underground, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was avoiding niche.
I absolutely went for niche, so.
Right, also, people who don't know, do you want to have a quick sort of chat about what the Overjoyed sound like?
Yeah, like that sort of, when people say, oh, they sound like early Green Day, they sound like slightly later than early Green Day, like that sort of teenage bottle rocket, just sort of pop punk meets skate punk sort of vibe.
I will say that so MJS off of that album is a slightly scarred up version of I Was There by Green Day, which is a hugely underrated Green Day song anyway. But like the melody is, I mean, I'm sure Leo would happily admit it, that he's like, yeah, this is I Was There, just written by a Greek dude.
Yeah.
And I think I like that song on that album most because it sounds like 1989 Green Day. And when they played New Cross Inn, it was just a wholesome day. That's the best way to describe it. Like everyone that was there for their mates' bands. So like everyone was friends, and we had Triple Sundae and Eat Defeat and Burnt Tapes, and it was a proper mates fest.
I was there. It was the first time we met.
And Stereo Box Heroes.
Stereo Box Heroes, like the creme de la creme of UK pop punk. And it was I think we did like 13 bands for a $5.
Yeah, it was.
And everyone somehow still got paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, when gigs come back, you should definitely start charging a bit more.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that. The days of £5 gigs are gone. I've got to make a living.
All right, so Paul, you're next.
Well, I'm just going to come in with what is probably one of the greatest punk rock songs ever written. Clear the Air off With Their Heads.
Nice.
Off of In Desolation.
That's on my list.
I mean, not much to say other than it is one of the greatest songs of all time. And I listen to it pretty much every day, and I always get the tingles every single time. Like the key change of all, like to end all key changes.
Yeah. Incredible band.
Like, that's literally all I've got to say about it. It's just one of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah.
There was no way that it wasn't going to be on there.
I have a really nice memory of seeing them at the Fighting Cocks in Kingston, and this was before I met the Resuscitators. It was the first time I'd seen them play, and they opened that gig, and I remember at the end I was sort of stood at the back and they were stood near me. We went together. I just have memories of us singing about like harmonies together to Clear the Air, and like I don't know if they still do it. Like Banquet used to like film like songs in their gig, and we must have been stood right under the camera, like where they're recording it. And if you go on YouTube and find it, you can hear my really bad harmonies. It sounds horrific, and I kind of feel like I've ruined the video. But I just
I'm not going to mention New Cross Inn in every fucking song, but
yes, you are.
When they played New Cross Inn in 2019, like it was absolutely packed, and obviously they ended with that, and obviously it was one of those moments where I had to take a step back and be like, fucking love this. This is why I do this. These little 3-minute moments of just like pure joy. Not even my joy, everyone else's joy.
Yeah. I remember seeing them at Fest, and they played on the outside stage, and it was like the Florida sun. It's really weird seeing Off With Their Heads playing a really sunny Florida afternoon and singing these really sad, depressing songs.
It is a proper miserable song as well, but like, it just makes me so happy at the same time.
It was great though. Right, before we move on to Lara's choice, we're having the Zoom problem of timing out. The podcast I recorded the other day, Beth from 10 a.m. in Flint, she let us use her proper Zoom, so I didn't have to worry about adverts. It was wonderful. One day I might spend £100. I should start a Patreon.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, you're given all this content for free. I'm sure 10 people kick in a tenner and you can get the premium.
Yeah, but I'm still not sure it's good content. It's just an excuse for me to talk to my friends.
I like it.
Yeah, I think people do like it.
Oh, good. But yeah, so adverts. All right, CPRW Records. We are working on our next 2 compilations. The next one is due out on the first Friday of April. I guess is an exclusive for anyone listening to this. What the name of the comp is? I'm going to butcher it because it's such a hard thing for me with a speech impediment to say. But it's Horses for Causes. So it's kind of like horse, as in when your throat gets ruined from singing aloud, like singing a song really loudly, and then obviously for causes because we raise money for charity. So yeah, that's coming in April. It's hopefully going to be really good, and hopefully people are going to love it. Yeah, so horses for causes. I regret naming this already.
You need a sign. Make a sign.
I'm still unsure if it's just the smartest thing I've ever thought of or the stupidest, but. And also good luck to Emma trying to think of artwork that's going to relate to that. She's a professional, she can do it. Yeah, so we're also, our second one, I got a couple of songs through today. That's coming out in June from a Japanese band I absolutely love. I'm really excited to get that out. So, yeah, this is the end of part 1. We'll be back in a second for part 2. Right, hello, welcome back to the second part of the CPRW podcast. We're doing last songs today. It's Lara's turn to give us her first choice for best last song ever.
All right, cool. So we're going to go back to 1994. One of my favourite, well, it's quickly becoming one of my favourite albums. My favourite ever song is on it, and probably now my second favourite song. I'm going to go with Only in Dreams by Weezer off the Blue Album. I think that is such a fucking great song. It's such a beautiful song. And when I was kind of writing down what I think makes it a good last song, it just ticked all the boxes. So, it's a good song on its own. It winds the album down, but it also sounds like a last song as well. And I can't imagine anything coming after it on that album. So yeah, that's my first. When you first emailed me about this one, Colin, it's the first song I thought of. But I was stuck for ages, oh, that's a good start. I'll start with that one. And I just couldn't think of anything afterwards. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Only in Dreams, Weezer, for my first one.
Yeah. I don't know much about Weezer to really comment. I know Hashpipe and the video where they have the marks.
Yeah.
You should listen to the Blue Album immediately because it is as good as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah, my favourite ever song is on there. It's Sailing. So it's such a great. It's weird because it's not the music that I would say that I listen to all of the time, but that album just stands out on its own. It's brilliant.
Solid shout.
Thank you.
They're a band I feel like I should know more of.
Colin, you've gone really quiet.
Yeah.
Oh no, what have I done?
We heard that a little bit.
Hello?
It sounds like you're really far away.
Hello? Move this closer to my head. Hello?
Better.
Oh, good. What's going on?
Not great, but better.
Yes,
yeah, not ideal.
Oh, how have I buggered this up then?
That's it. You had it then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just my internet having a hissy.
Have you moved to Penge?
You have been recommending that I do this for a long time, so right. But it's my turn to go again as well, so let's hope you can hear me all good and proper.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's go for a really, really poppy one. So the last song by All American Rejects from their self-titled album. I am not a All American Rejects fan, but that song is absolutely incredible, and I will fight anyone on that one with words.
That's a great. That is not something that I would have anticipated hearing, but I'm happy to hear it.
I love that song, just the way it builds. I mean, I'm really a sucker for a song that builds. So I just think it's a really, really good song. I mean, it's a shame they haven't written anything else anywhere near as good.
There's some real curveballs on this already. I like it.
I mean, I'm also trying to, because I know my list is a lot longer than you guys', so I'm trying to pick songs I know you probably won't have. But I know that one I think is really good. I always get really excited when I hear it come on, and I have a playlist that is greatest songs ever, and that song is on there.
Wow, I've never heard it. I would say I've never really taken time to listen to them. But,
I only listen to that song. Don't worry about the rest. But
I think I listen to Swing Swing quite regularly because I really like that.
Yeah.
That's like the song though. Like
yeah, I mean that was on.
That's it.
Like when it come out, I was getting List to Work off of Tom Curtis, Mike. There's a little blast from the past, and every day on, it might have even been Radio 1, at the exact time we pulled into the car park, it was the time of day that they played Swing Swing because it was getting a big radio push. And I loved that like few week period where it's like, listen to Swing Swing to start your working day. Like, perfect. Other than that, couldn't name a song.
Wasn't it on a FIFA soundtrack as well? Or was that a different?
Maybe. I couldn't
I'm sure it's there somewhere.
They do not sound like good FIFA songs or reject songs.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say about that. And it's also called The Last Song, and I appreciated that because I was tempted to put Ender by Finch on my list as well, which I think is a really good song. But that isn't the last song.
Yeah.
They have What It Is to Burn afterwards. It really irritates the piss out of me. But
that has been like because like off the top of my head, I don't really know any last songs. And so I was looking for all my most recent listen tos and like my favorite albums on Spotify and just hoping there was a banger at the end.
Yeah.
And I was tough going. It was just like, oh.
Yeah. It was really hard. I was doing the same that you mentioned earlier. You were looking through like all the Green Day ones, like to see what all their last songs were. And I was like, surely Nimrod's got to be really good. And they like, the last song Nimrod is good, but it isn't a last song. Like it comes after like Good Riddance. Why isn't that on the end? You know,
yeah,
like it winds up
chucking. Was it prosthetic head?
Head, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and like FOD's good. I thought that Kaplunk had a really good last song, but it turns out that it's not amazing. Yeah. Ignoring the Sweet Children aspects. I thought it was Who Wrote Holden Caulfield, which would have been top of my list, but it's not. I've only been listening to him for like 30 years, don't worry about it. Yeah. I don't even know what's on the album.
We were saying in our group chat the other day when we were talking about like the Menzingers, they write some really, really like first songs, absolute bangers, but their last songs are always like really slow acoustic songs.
Yeah, like I was assuming they'd be on my list, Green Day, like a No Effects or something, and it's like, nope, nothing happening.
It's baffling that After the Party isn't a last song.
It should be like after a bonus track or something, just really late on.
Yeah. Mike, your turn.
Okay, I have a sneaking suspicion that this band were also on my first songs, and I want to put in Black Me Out by Against Me from Transgender Dysphoria Blues.
That's on the list.
I reckon it qualified for this because I think it's the best song on the album. So it kind of gets in there. And it's one of those that ties it all together really nicely. And just, it tells the story in a good way. And then it's just such a banger at the end. Like the sing-alongs and just it just hits hard. And it's just one of those tracks where it's just a perfect last track to go on an album.
Yeah. It's really, really catchy as well. Like you pick it up so quickly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it just
gets
lodged in your head.
The lyric of I want to piss on the walls of your house, and it's just like, what? But if I don't know if any of you guys have read Laura Jane Grace's book, she explains it on there, and it's just incredible. Apparently, she'd get blackout drunk, and then just piss against the side of a house, and then found out like 15 years later it's exactly what their dad used to do when he got blackout drunk. And I was like, that's a weird hereditary thing. Like the book as a whole is incredible, and I recommend it.
I've read it. It's really, really good.
Tie that in with this album, but particularly that song. It's just, it complements each other. It's just a good last song.
Yeah, I'd agree with that 100%. It was on my list.
Oh, really?
Because I don't think Against Me actually have that many good last songs.
It was the only one that came close, and it just happened to be a very good one.
They tend to start their albums really strongly, and then it sort of peters off a bit. But
yeah.
Paul, what's your next one?
I'll build it up. So,
gonna drum roll.
Always the showman.
Much like Clear the Air, it's one of the greatest songs ever written by the hand of a human being. It's a perfect end to a perfect album, and most importantly of all, it's one of the best live songs that I've ever seen. And it is The Backseat by Gaslight Anthem of 59 Sounds. Like, awesome. Find a fault with it. It's impossible. And like, I've got my relationship with Gaslight is, I'm just so glad that I was there. Because I saw him by accident. Like, I think it was Toby said, there's a band playing at 1:30 in a tent at Reading Festival. Let's go check them out. I was like, I've never heard of them. And it was Gaslight Anthem. And after that, I was done. Like, one of the greatest. Like, I miss them almost daily. So, Backseat, done. Easy.
I can't argue that one because I don't really know it. And Emma will listen to this and kill me.
I mean, one day me and Emma are going to meet up and just like not ever mention Gaslight in passing in conversation, but I don't think that day will probably ever come.
No. She did miss like a day of Level Up to go and see Gaslight Anthem that time.
So did Dre, and I was like, not that I was annoyed at watching the Toasters, but there's a something at the back of my head being like, I should be watching Gaslight play 59 Sound in full right now. But also, I was at their last London show, which supported by Against Me. So I kind of like, that's a nice little, like, that's the end of my Gaslight live experience kind of thing. Like, their last London show with Against Me. Do I need to go back? I mean, yes, I'm just trying to make excuses to make myself feel better.
I really enjoyed the Toasters.
Yeah, I mean, everyone hugging during David Hilliard. Do you remember hugs? Like,
yeah. Oh, hugs.
Yeah. Not knocking the festival that we do, but wish I was a Gaslight.
Okay, Lara, what's your second one?
I'm kind of painting a picture on this podcast, and I'm like really into shoegaze and indie music, but I'm not that much. It's just this last song I'm going to pick is kind of experimental, I guess. It's called Essex Dogs. It's the last song on Blur album, and it's just such a really weird song, but it's a perfect last song. It's basically just like this really like weird, fuzzy monologue with loads of pedals and a drill. Like, it's really, really weird, but it just somehow ties the album up, and is my favorite song on that album as well. So yeah, that's the end of like my indie kind of side of things. But like the 90s was good for like really weird shit. So I'm going to pick Essex Dogs. If you haven't heard it, you have to listen to it. It's like 8 minutes of just weirdness and noise. So yeah, that's obviously we all know like the big Blur songs. This is so different from that. So yeah, and it's kind of creepy, kind of weird. Yeah, I'm picking that one.
I have a similar relationship with Blur that I do with Alkaline Trio, which is I want to listen to Blur, and I should listen to an album I never really gave a chance back in the day, but I'll always go back to The Great Escape every single time.
Yeah, mine's Leisure. I always end up going back to Leisure. Like, and it's weird because that's my favorite Blur album, but it's not even like their best era. It's like baggy, but whatever.
Very much like. I mean, being at school during the Country House versus Roll With It, the fight for number one. Like, what a time to be however old I was, 13. Like, Team Blur. Southerners, isn't it? They're from up the road. Like, who are these like Larry Northerners?
That's it.
They were literally up the road. Like the guitarist, Graham Coxon, he went to my secondary school. There's a fun fact.
Oh, no way. That's so cool. I'll tell Nicky that. You'll find that amazing. I
believe that after he left that school that he went to Goldsmiths in New Cross.
Yeah, he went to Goldsmiths, yeah.
With Jarvis Cocker.
Pulp.
Note to self, book Pulp and Blur.
You can do it. You can
they both played the venue like back in the day.
Was that the place next to the like nightclub next to
as in the nightclub, the venue next to New Cross in the venue,
yeah. Awesome. Okay, it's me next. Okay, I'm going to go with a band we're friends with, I reckon. Not the Day Old Trend by Eat Feet. I think that's such a good way of closing that album.
I was so close to making it on mine. I was like, agreed, yeah.
Yeah, just, I mean, but they usually finish their set with that song as well, don't they? It's just like a really good song about like fighting your mental health issues or just accepting that it's okay not to be okay. And yeah, Beat Defeat are great. I think criminally underrated in the DIY scene. They probably because they don't really play that many shows. If they do, it just seems to be at New Cross, even though they're from Leeds.
Yeah, I know. I will literally put them on anything. Be like, I'll pay for your petrol. Just like they shouldn't be driving down just like for a one-off to support like Mars Intruder. But fuck you, it's my gig. I'm booking who I want. Beat Defeat.
Right? Yeah, like
it makes no sense. But apart from like between me and Summers, it makes sense. But anyone else have that?
They're just really, really good guys as well. But yeah, that song, like Not Today, Old Friends, they banger. And they put it on. They released that EP, Time and Tide. That the one? Yeah, in Japan, didn't they? Added it to that for that release, and then it ended up on the full album. And I think I saw in a video that Summers did for the CPRW Final Challenge that we still have loads of them. So let's do an advert for Summers. Go and buy Beat Defeat's album from Summers, and also watch him on Twitch. You'll appreciate that.
Watch him on Twitch.
I've recently started buying vinyl, so I will make that a purchase.
You should.
Excellent salesmanship.
I believe it might even say your name in the thank yous.
I think I have a CD, so I think I saw it, but still humbling either way.
Yeah, I believe it says my name as well, which was really, really cool.
No, it never gets boring, does it? Never gets old.
Makes me feel like I'm important. I am.
Yeah.
I should write that down.
I am important.
I am very important. More bands should thank me in the liner notes.
They should. I'm on free, but just counting.
So I mean, if we're getting into it, Colin, like I've got quite a tasty collection. To be fair, I was like,
What did I get? I was listening to the other day, and I was like, Mean Caesar, they thank you.
Yeah, which I didn't know until. I think Taj bought a Tour de Wheels t-shirt and Ollie included the Mean Caesar 12-inch. And I was like, oh, what a nice guy, like free record. I was reading through it and I was like, I feel so bad for not buying it now.
It's such a, they were so good. It's such a shame.
Like, honestly, if I knew that what I was thanking, I'd definitely buy one because, we all need that little ego boost.
You're right. So yeah, Mike, what's your third song?
How obscure do you want me to go? No, I won't go that obscure. I'm going to go with the last track from True Stories by Mouthwash, which is Hazy Days, because I think it is the best Mouthwash song. Mouthwash are a very good band, and their best song is the last track, so that's why it gets on the list. I think
when you said how obscure and you decided against it, I thought he was going to go like Less Than Jake, but you've gone a band that hasn't played a show for a decade.
I'm educating the people.
Yeah. Let's not get into the whole Wikipedia thing that we. I know that was on the Upshot podcast, wasn't it?
Apparently we are getting into it now. You said it. So I don't know if it is the band or just someone else. They've quite heavily edited their Wikipedia page. So if you go and look at the band info, they've all had some wacky lives, including like going semi-pro at Arsenal Football Club, aged 13, and all of this nonsense. Turns out none of it true.
That's a shame.
This was when I believed things that I read on the internet, and I was like, "Oh shit, Mouthwash played for Arsenal. Who knew?"
You were so proud of that fact when you told me.
Yeah, go around telling everyone. Then I found out what Wikipedia actually was.
But then we found out that was a lie about 6 weeks later. 6 years later.
It's a long time. I was going around telling everyone. They're like, Mouthwash don't play anymore because they're training down like Highbury or whatever.
Good thing we didn't try and recruit them for our five-a-side team. That would have been embarrassing. Yeah. We've got a semi-pro Arsenal guy here.
I bet they're all shit at football.
Yeah, they probably don't even know what Arsenal is.
But I never saw Mouthwash. I was supposed to. They were playing Colchester, supporting a band that we should have mentioned. And I was supposed to go, but I was in a hospital with a broken leg, so I missed out. Which, in hindsight, it's probably good that I missed that band, but I would like to see Mouthwash.
I know who that band is. They were very much a part of that scene.
Yes.
First time I saw Mouthwash, bizarrely, was it was a Punkorama show at the LA2, so we're going back a long time. And it was Bouncing Souls, Save Ferris, who replaced Guttermouth.
Weird replacement.
The New Bomb Turks.
Much better.
And Mouthwash opened. And so I swear I've never heard of New Bomb Turks anywhere outside of a Punkorama CD. But I must have seen them. I've got a ticket and I know that I saw Mouthwash.
The Mouthwash were on a Hellcat, weren't they, at some point?
Yeah, that was when they were on Hellcat, early days. I think 2009 they played, they supported Suicide Bid, which was absolutely mint, as you'd imagine. Like that's the perfect kind of like heavy reggae show.
Awesome. Right. Who's your next one then?
Right, I'm going to go for epic here. It was between two, one of which is Just Say Nay, and the other one is 3 Years Down, on a Dark Day, off of the album that came out a few months back. Just Say Nay are going to get pushed to the side because you kind of expect Just Say Nay to just come out of an 8-minute gypsy ska song. Like that's the exact sort of thing they'd do. But
to be fair, I was not expecting that when I heard it. When I saw like they'd got an 8-minute song, I thought they'd done a song and then a bonus song.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting it, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, okay.
But 3 Years Down, like because they sent me the album early, so it's like a download onto the phone. I was like, 8 minutes? Are they doing a bonus track? Do they still think that physical media exists? And then listened to it, and I was like, this is the greatest 8 minutes of music I've heard in possibly ever.
Since Kira Murray.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that song, again, like it ends the album so well, and they, in terms of genre, the song is ska punk and pop punk and melodic punk and skate punk and then reggae and then a little bit metal. And it's like 3 Years Down have just written my entire musical taste in one 8-minute song. And obviously I'm heavily biased, but I don't care. 3 Years Down, get the shout. That's what they do with most things that I do.
They're a great song, great band. So.
I'm going to keep booking them until they play it live.
Good. Surely they will. If you put them on a headline show, surely they'll.
I'll just be like, you've got 38 minutes. Your support slot is 38 minutes. If this is the 8 minutes after the standard 30.
Fair enough.
Good shout.
Should we describe 3DBS down a bit? Okay, obviously they were a very important band then.
So they're ska punk and they're pop punk and they're melodic punk.
They were quite a influential band for bands like Random Hand, though, weren't they?
I mean, like when they were touring properly, Random Hand would be supporting them, and like Sonic Boom 6, I believe, were supporting them when they first started. And then, they had to go away to become adults, and so lost. I think I think the last few shows, they were like on tour with our Expanders. So they did a couple of shows with our Expanders, so they were doing really well for themselves. And then I don't know if this is for a public domain thing, but
probably
whatever.
Risk it.
I'll risk it.
So sue me, please.
Paul down
I have. I'm on my second. Simon, the bassist, and also their chief songwriter, like one of the greatest songwriters of a generation, dare I say. I think he got an opportunity to join a band that were like very industry heavy, and it's every young bassist's dream to become a full-time musician with fame and fortune and that. He wasn't going to get that with ska punk, so he went for this. Do you remember them, Mike? They were called Tom All Alone in the 78s.
Yes.
We saw them at the Lion, I believe, like way back when, and they were kind of like little bits of Nosebleed, little bits of the Hives. They kind of like garage rock thing, but their agenda was let's go headline festivals kind of thing. And so it's a very tough decision. He was like, I'm going to go with this like mainstream band and give it a crack. And unfortunately, it never works out. But now we get 3 Years Down back. So yay.
It all worked out well for you.
Yeah. No, I love them, and everything I do is directly because of them and seeing them in a pub when I was 15.
Yeah, like they were my first, let's say, taste of what DIY music is. Like I remember seeing their CD, the Can of Worms CD, laying around in the house when I was literally a child.
Preteen,
yeah, and just being fascinated by it. And then obviously when you first start going to gigs and you go to your local gigs and they were there, and they're very, very lucky, and they're inspirational for sure.
No, I mean, like, we always go on about them, but like, it's a simple fact that if they didn't exist, B Sharp wouldn't exist. And however many thousands of people have come to our shows over the last 15 years, it's like that wouldn't have happened with us. Those bands would have still played, obviously, but you know, we wouldn't be friends, Colin. Think of that.
Oh wow! Yeah. What a different world it would be.
Me and you probably wouldn't be talking, Paul. So
no, I'd be like, oh, get out.
I have no brother.
Oh. Wow.
Thanks, Stevie.
Dark.
Wow. So on that note, Lara, what's your next song?
If we're talking about ska punk, I think I'll pick my Less Than Jake choice. I've got Owl's War as the last song.
I will strike that off my list.
Yeah, okay, cool. I think that is my favourite Less Than Jake album, and I love every song on that one. Although it doesn't sound like a slower song or anything, like sometimes like a good last song just knows the rest of the album and doesn't like have to strip down or anything like that. So I just think it's a really fucking great song, but it still sounds like a last song, but it sounds like it could also be anywhere else on the album. I love it.
And it's not a ska song. There's no upstrokes, there's no brass. It's just a great punk song.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Like I said, the whole album is really, really strong, and I think it ends super strong with that one as well. So yeah, that's my choice.
That is one I get when we see Less Than Jake live. That is one I get excited about because they don't play it every tour, do they? They sort of bust it out every now and then, and every time I get so excited.
So it made it to this stage for me purely because of how much I enjoy it live as well. Like big factor.
Yeah, I was also thinking with Less Than Jake, Lockdown off of Losing Streak as well.
If you had said that, I would have cried and just been like, no, I can't handle anyone.
As soon as we went in lockdown, like the first time, like last March, whenever it was, I playing that because I got a dark sense of humour. I thought it was funny.
I remember when lockdown jokes were funny 8 months ago.
But those were the days. Okay, so it's House War, banger.
Cool.
100% agree. I'm going to go, like when we had our group chat, there was a bit of, is this the last song? Isn't it a last song? I think it's the last song because I think Donut Dan is a bonus song. And I think on the CD, you had 99 Red Balloons, then like an annoying quiet period, and then Donut Dan came on. So I'm counting 99 Red Balloons as the last song on Stomping Ground.
Awesome.
Good job.
Yeah, really good choice.
I'm not going to get into it. Like we've only got a certain amount of time here. But I think it's because again, I'm from a position of privilege. Like I've seen Goldfinger at least 50 times, probably more, and that song becomes very old for me when they could be playing any amount of album tracks that they never play.
Fair, but I think as a way
forget
to finish...
99 Red Balloons. Play Forgiveness for fuck's sake. Like, why don't you ever play Forgiveness? Jesus Christ.
Did you ask them when you played? When they played at New Cross, could you play?
No, I barely spoke to Feldman. I was too scared.
I heard Dan Peters.
I mean, it's so massive and everyone knows it. It's probably their second biggest song after Superman, so fair enough. But
yeah, it's
I have my opinion.
Stomping Ground is my favourite Goldfinger album, and I think
like I really like it, even though there's no ska songs. Like it's such a good album.
I think my second favourite Goldfinger is Open Your Eyes as well, which again isn't that ska heavy.
Yeah.
In terms of skippable songs, you're probably right. I agree. And that, like, Open Your Eyes is when they were playing, like, they were doing London shows 3 times a year, like between like 02 and 04. So I saw them a lot, and that it was obviously that album, like Open Your Eyes, heavy. So I really got into it. Yeah.
Hang out, yeah. But I'll say, my quick Dan Peters story from when Goldfinger played New Cross. Obviously, Mike Herrera was playing in Goldfinger, and Dan Peters is in love with Mike Herrera, I think it's fair to say, and he was asking him to play an XPX song at the Goldfinger gig, which is such a Dan Peters thing to do.
Can you cover Chick Magnet?
I always find such a funny thing as how when I think of Dan, I think of that story now. Make it sound like Dan's dead. Dan Peters isn't dead. He's got a new band called Murray or something. It's about kung fu, and it's really angry hardcore.
I think calling it kung fu is really insulting to what it's actually about. It's not kung fu.
MMA, some sort of grappling fighting thing.
Some sort
it's
of.
My friend Dan. He does kung fu. It's basically like, you know, it's Jackie Chan, but it's from like, you know, East West London.
It's basically that.
It's violent cuddling, is what he does.
Violent cuddling.
I do love Dan though. Like, I don't see it. I mean, before this, I didn't see him as often as I'd like to.
Just a man with so much enthusiasm for everything.
Yeah, no, I love him.
Absolutely.
What a guy. So yeah, 99 Red Balloons is the banging last song. Mike?
I am going once again back to our first track. We should just copy and paste what I said, because I'm putting in We Are the Union. Alcor, I actually mentioned it in the first track podcast, saying that it's also got the best last song, and I think that's where the idea of doing the last song podcast came from.
Probably.
So getting a shout of just being the perfect finish to my perfect album of scar-tinged pop punk. It's got sing-alongs, it's got dual guitar riffs, which you don't get in enough bands, especially in the sort of scenes that we're in. And
shout out to Just Say Nay for doing that when they had 2 guitarists.
Exactly. Like, you know, that's the only reason I like Just Say Nay, so now it's on, you know, sketchy grounds. But yeah, like, we're obviously We Are the Union disappeared for a long time. Now they're back and they're writing incredible songs. But in terms of last songs, our core from Who We Are will always get it.
Yeah, that one's. I've got my Bands I've Seen Live playlist, and my song I picked for We Are the Union when I saw them live, so it comes up a lot.
It's just, it makes me go, every time it just hits.
I do not want to be stood next to you if I ever see you play that one. That would be weird.
It's like they're supposed to be at a fest, and so when that got cancelled, I got very upset. And I'm hoping that, you know, if Florida just isn't a massive hole in the ground, maybe we'll get to see him this year. So,
what happens if you clash with them?
Triple Sundae can go 3-piece. It's fine.
Fair play.
Always the expendable one.
Like, rhythm guitarist. It's the greatest place to be.
If I don't job in the world.
If I forget where I am in a song, I just don't play anything. No one notices.
Just jump instead.
Exactly. Just look pretty. That's what I do.
Hey, Paul, what's your 4th song?
Right,
and can you do it in 7 minutes, please?
It's a good job I've got a time limit because this could go on, but it is the greatest pop punk song ever written by a band that no one's really ever heard of. Medicine and Gasoline by Lucky Boys Confusion, off of an album called Commitment. And I like pop punk a lot, but I'm very specific about what sort of pop punk. If people say what pop punk, it's Alistair. Like, that's what I like. More bands than that. But like Lucky Boys Confusion they're a reggae band and they're a punk band and they're a little bit hip hop and they're a little bit this and that. And they ended this album with, just pop punk perfection. And I was thinking like, I need to find more stories, but it's not like we're struggling for time here. But very quick one. They've played outside of the US once, and it was acoustic, and me and Mike put it on. That was one of my favourite achievements that we did like in the early days, like persuading him. Like, he started a new band that went on tour with Medina Lake, and I hit him up saying, when you finish your show with Medina Lake at the Electric Ballroom, I can hire this pub a 10-minute walk up the road in Camden, place called the Enterprise, pretty much opposite the Roundhouse, and be like, can you do an acoustic set? And I think he got the guitarist in his new band was not in Lucky Boys Confusion, so he got him to learn like a 45-minute set of songs, and it was just like him on vocals. How many people do you reckon were there? I know it wasn't sold out, but it's still a good 50. Like, it's an 80 capacity room, and I think there's about 50 people there.
Yeah, and it was one of those where I think 20 of those people knew Lucky Boys. I think the rest were there for support bands. Or
we were very clever with supports on it to try and make, like, we just wanted it to happen because, like, you know, me and my friends would never get a chance to see Lucky Boys short of going to Chicago. And I think they were on hiatus at the time as well. And so, yeah, that was pre-B Sharp as well. It wasn't a B Sharp gig. It was just a gig with no promoter name on it. So, but like, check out that song, Medicine and Gasoline. It is absolutely stunning.
Awesome. I think you've told
Did
me
it in 3 minutes.
Well done, well done. Is that the time when, I remember you telling me the story before, that Toby had to wait outside a tube station with a sign?
Like an airport limo driver with a picture of, like, the front man goes by Stubby, with a picture of Stubby's face on it, and just in, like, Times New Roman, Stubby for Paul. He might have put a picture of my face on it as well, because we were playing that gig as well, because it's like, there's no way we wasn't going to support Lucky Boys Confusion. And he was finishing his set at the ballroom at the exact time we was on stage, so I had to send Toby down to the ballroom to pick him up. I think Toby treated him to a cab, which must have cost about £2.80 because it's literally on the same road.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then bought him a couple of beers, and yeah, like, it was a very, very wonderful and a little bit emotional night.
I guess we should say, as we've mentioned him twice now, I think, Toby is like New Cross in regular legend, all-round good guy.
Caricature. It's a caricature.
Caricature, like yeah.
It's more of it's just a pet for the scene, like, you know.
I was being nice about Toby. I miss Toby. I haven't seen him in ages.
I think that the pubs are reopening just in time for our 15th anniversary of friendship. So we'll probably, to be fair, we'll probably still just go outside and drink cans like we did back in 2006.
Fair. Right. I don't think I can do an advert for the International Women's Day podcast in less than 3 minutes, so we'll do that after this 1 second break.
Drink Signature Brew.
Drink Signature Brew. Then they do non-alcoholic.
They do.
Excellent. For the cool sober people such like myself, they do sober beer apparently. Awesome. Signature Brew. The brew for you.
Good advert.
I'm a professional now. Right. Hello. Welcome back to part 3 of the CPRW podcast. We're still with Lara, Paul and Mike. We're still doing last songs, but before we go for the last, we've got 5 songs left. I want to just have a quick chat about our last podcast we released, which was the International Women's Day special, which was hosted by Robin, and who did an absolutely incredible job. And I'm giving her this podcast in the future because she is much better at it than me. And Lara and was there as well. We had special guest Sarah from Shout Louder and KEMF. And like I've listened to it back a couple of times, and it's just, I think, even if you think you're like the biggest ally, the biggest feminist, you should listen to this podcast. It will make you think about things you've done in your life and how like men or I guess even women have treated other women, and make you think about these sort of things. So yeah, I feel like I should have written something really, really profound to say about it, but I'm a really unorganized man today. But like seriously, like listen to it. Like if you don't listen to anything else we ever like do, listen to that podcast. It will really make you think, and it's really entertaining as well. So it's not like a super heavy listen either. So there was a couple of moments that made me blush as well, if that's your thing. So so listen to that episode 14 International Women's Day podcast. It's on all the places where you're listening to this now or watching this now. And I'll put it in the link because that's what people on the internet do, put it in the links. Down below. Right, yeah, so back to the last song's business. We've got Lara, you're up next.
Cool, all right, so I'm going to go with the last song off the New Found Glory, self-titled New Found Glory. So it's Ballad for the Lost Romantics. I love this song. It's kind of like Al's War in a way, like it just fits the album where it's not necessarily like a winding down slow song, but it just sounds like a last song. Like, and it builds up throughout the whole song to like all the bands sort of like chiming in with vocals and stuff. So it builds up to that, but it's definitely got like a feeling of, I don't know, a last song, like a build up to the end of an album. So while it's not like stripped back, it's still like, do you know what I mean? Like a last song sound to it. So yeah, that's my choice. That's my pop punk choice for my last song.
You say that's from the which one's the self-titled one? What's the album art look like?
Which one? Well, it's called New Found Glory.
Yeah, but I know that. I mean, what's like the album art? I'm trying to picture the album.
Oh, they are. It's like it's kind of like little like Polaroids of different
like
bits
the white border.
Yeah, that's the one. It's got hit or miss on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the big one from it. So 2000, that one was out. Yeah, that one is not my favorite New Found Glory album, but yeah, I think it's a good last song. I think it kind of finishes the album off nicely.
Thoughts on New Found Glory?
I've got a lot of time for New Found Glory. Like, I think I've only seen them like headline a show once, but like I've seen them at your Slam Dunks, your Redden and Leeds, and every single time it reminds me of how good they actually are. Like, I've got a lot of time for them, and they're hardcore kids as well, which I like.
Yeah, I think they get written off quite a bit. I think I know that when I was in school, like I was probably the only person in my whole school who like listened to them or said or admitted to listening to them, I guess. But I think over the years, like with the whole, like you said, the hardcore influence that they've kind of brought into the music, I think that's kind of what's kept them going. And I think that's kind of been like a big influence for like pop punk bands that are around now as well. It's kind of helped this kind of new kind of push of pop punk, I think. So yeah, I think they're like a really important band. But yeah, it's a good last song, I think.
So All Time Low are obviously massively influenced by New Found Glory to the extent that their band name is a New Found Glory song.
So is the story so far, I believe?
So far, yeah.
We just got to look at who they inspired, and you got to respect that. And like,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm fine for him.
Cool.
And like any band that gets huge but played those shit shows like back in the day, like they grafted for it, so automatic punk points, if you will.
Awesome.
Right. That's my last one, and this is one where I am going niche, but it is from my favorite album ever, so it's going on there, and I will talk about this album as long as, I mean, with 10 minutes to 6, and Mike said he had to go at 6, so we're going to overrun, so I won't talk about it too long. But yeah, so it's from my favorite album ever, which is Holy Shit by Davey Dynamite, and the song is called Gods. 5-minute long, just brilliant piece of songwriting. Really, I should really claim Davey Dynamite, I suppose, because this is niche. There's no All American Rejects, is it? Like the Davey Dynamite's a person from Chicago who writes like really raw sounding sort of folk punk. The Holy Shit album's like his first. I'm gonna go for their first like full band effort, and it's like I heard it on a whim and was like completely blown away. Like the song Gods is like I think it's 5 or 4 years old now, this album, and the song Gods at the end is still so incredibly relevant like today, and it's like just a really positive, uplifting song to finish. It's like about like life can be a bit shit, but everyone should work together, and things can get better if people work together. It's a really good, uplifting, positive song. And I went on the Warrington Ska Punk podcast, and this song is the least ska punk song going. And I was like, we're playing this song. It's incredible, and I want people to listen to it. I talk about Davey Dynamite. Like, if I see like someone on Twitter asking for a band recommendation, that's always my go-to. Sorry, like all the bands that I'm friends with. And sorry, Mike, for never suggesting Triple Sundae.
I don't either, don't worry.
But like this, like go listen to Gods and go listen to Holy Shit, because it's incredible. And yeah, so that's probably my choice for the best last song ever. But I feel like I will get voted down because I feel like the three of you probably have listened to it. So
yeah, not a clue.
Hopefully I've sold it at least.
Yeah, that's what the playlist is for.
Yeah, it's like incredible. Yeah, we are going to make a playlist. Did I say that already? Mm-hmm. For the listeners, so that's also in the links below. Yeah, so God's Davey Dynamite from the album Holy Shit. I also, when I played that, I didn't realise properly at the time that Chris, who does Warrington Scarband podcast, is a Christian. and I picked the song that has the line, "We are the gods of the new world."
Let's get some Five Iron Frenzy on next. And
their new album's quality, to be fair. It's really good. But,
funny you mentioned that band.
Oh, what? Really?
Okay.
Is it
well, Mike is next, so unlucky, Paul.
Yeah, we lost such a good segue, but we'll forget about it.
Well, the rules are here for a reason, okay?
Yeah.
We're punks, we follow the rules.
Yeah. Helps control the fun, etc. Right, for my last one, I'm going down under, and I'm going for the last song from A Breath of Stale Air by local resident Failure, called The Funeral, for many reasons. It's their best song, and it's the last song on the album, so I think for me that qualifies it. I just think in terms of the Australian skate punks, they're so underrated compared to the likes of your Frenzels and Decline and those sorts of bands. But the song, it's like calypso punk with a little bit of ska in there and a little bit of shouty sing-alongs, and just the overall theme. Like, it's a guy who's talking about where he wants to be at the end of his life and how he wants to do something to be proud of. And I think it just really nicely bookends a really solid album.
Cool.
I know the band, I don't know the song. Like, there's a lot of like they say Aussie skate punk bands popping up, isn't there? With that kind of sound.
To be fair, I believe we nearly booked them, Paul. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shit show. I think the guy that was booking them, I won't name him, but he's a bellend.
It made it very hard work.
Moron. And I think I offered them like the sort of support slot that if you play thousands of miles from home, like you beg to get on.
It was
it was supporting Authority Zero, correct? Like imagine Triple Sundae going to Australia and being like, you can support Authority Zero in Melbourne. You'd be like, yeah. But their UK booker is not a genuine booking agent. He was adamant that they should headline in London, so they headlined the Windmill in Brixton, I think. And I will put big money on the fact that there was single figure attendance because it wasn't promoted. I think the booker put it on himself, but he's from Nottingham.
He was asking for a slot on that gig, I think 2 days before the gig. I think it was a last minute date because their original London date fell through. And I believe that original date fell through because it got cancelled because of the Authority Zero show happening down the road. Yeah. And this booking agent was just refusing to budge on price and also the fact that they wanted to headline. And it's like, I don't think the band even knew what gig they were being offered. And
I agree.
It was one of those times where it's like, agents are just the worst.
He's not even a real agent.
No, he's not. Actually.
Not a real agent.
Pretend agents are below actual agents.
I think I'm pretty sure he went to Australia like for a holiday / to see NoFX because he's a big NoFX fan. Got into local resident Failure, was like, if you want to come to the UK, I'll book you. Like, you say, and then they called in the favour, and he was like, right, let's learn how to book. He's certainly not doing anything like that now. No. I know that for a fact.
Yeah,
it's funny because the local resident Failure is a band. I reckon if we were to book them to play at Newcastle or whatever, like maybe worth 20 tickets. But if you put the drummer's name right at the top...
Yeah, exactly. Is Kai Smith playing with them? That's all anyone wants to know.
I was going to say, is their drummer is the guy who does all the drum covers.
Oh, is that his band?
Yeah. Like, absolutely
I watched all the
incredible,
I watched the YouTube videos. I didn't realise.
He's ridiculous, that guy.
I think I've seen one of their videos.
He did the fucking the Beatles drum chronology on top of Tower Records or whatever, and all that. The Green Day one is the ultimate
Have you seen the Simpsons one as well? He does it's really good. Yeah,
I'm going to.
It's
the guy is an obscene drummer.
He's brilliant.
I love the way that he his early videos. He has when his drum kit changes. I believe that the newer drum kit he bought off of Frenzel Rom because he loves Frenzel Rom. He's I'm buying that drum kit off of him.
He did a collaboration with their guitarist, I believe.
I think he's played some shows with them. He's done
slightly, because the little drum chronologies that he did, I believe him and the guitarist from Frenzel Rom did one for AC/DC. Or Akadaka, as they call them down there.
Right. So, Paul, what could your last song be? Or what? I got a feeling it's Five Iron Frenzy.
Well, I did have a ska punk fatal three-way, but Owl's War is already covered. So now it's just a straight head-to-head. And I'm still in two minds, but I think I've decided. So it's between Five Iron Frenzy, Every New Day, which... I think it's the perfect ska song in terms of music because I mean, fair play, sing what you want to sing about, but it's not the lyrics that really connect to me. I can't relate to the lyrical content, but as a ska song, I think it's nigh on perfect. I can't find a fault with it. I can find a fault with it. There's a fucking bonus track, so on Spotify it's 12 minutes long. So it never goes on any playlists.
It's almost like these bands didn't think of streaming services and when they recorded these songs.
I'm not too sure when it came out, but I think it was the 90s. But it's such perfect ska. And I couldn't decide between that and Slow Gherkin, How Now Lowbrow off of Shed Some Skin.
That was on my list.
Which is also just an incredible ska song.
That goes Shed Some Skin and then Lowbrow as well, doesn't it? What a
but I think
what a way to finish an album.
Oh no, too good. But I think ultimately I'm into music because I like seeing bands live and I like the atmosphere and blah 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 blah. And I've never seen Five Iron Frenzy, but I have seen Slow Gherkin, and I regularly watch on YouTube a live video of How Now Lowbrow from when I went to the Asian Man thing a few years ago. And so I think Slow Gherkin will just nick it for me. So have a bit of How Now Lowbrow with special mention to Five Iron Frenzy.
Okay. Fair play. I love Slow Gherkin so much.
Yeah, I mean...
When are you going to book them?
Their keys player come to London a few times for work, or we met up for a beer a couple of times. I took him to a King Punch show, believe it or not. And he was like, this is amazing. Do you remember? It was when they played Tower Bridge outside. At that
the Scoop.
The Scoop, yeah.
Outdoor venue.
You were there, because I was watching that video the other night. I stumbled upon it, and I spotted you, and Toby, and Craig, and Paul.
That was a good night. That was a good time.
Because I didn't realise Dave from Just Saying There used to play King Punch.
Yeah. He's been in every band.
It's been around. It's been on Sundae as well.
Seeing King Punch play an open air summer show to at least 500 people, at least 495 people didn't know who the fuck they were. And King Punch, it just proves that if you put a ska punk band on the mainstream stage to complete strangers, they will be the biggest genre in the world, because after two songs they had everyone in the palm of their hands and it was absolute madness.
I enjoyed that video. I watched it the other day when I was just on YouTube tumbling around clicking on things. Oh, King Punch. Oh, this is actually
such a great video. Yeah.
All right, so last song for Lara, the big headliner.
Yeah, so I've got two left. kind of like big hitters, I guess, like ones that I was like, oh, maybe I'll mention those first. But so I'm gonna stick with Descendants' "Thank You," the last song of Everything Sucks. So I'm gonna go with that one just because I think it is a really it's an awesome end song. I can't really thought this through. I was listening to a podcast that I think Bill was on, and because I never really, I thought like when they wrote that song, it was about like they were thanking a band. They just never mentioned who it was. But apparently it's it's for like the fans to like put the thanks on like any band. So it can be like any, because I thought maybe it's people listen to the Descendants will say like, thank you for like that album. It's awesome or whatever, but it's supposed to be like for anyone, for anything really. But yeah, I think it's a really good ending song. Yeah, I haven't thought this one through. I just thought "Thank You" is a good song, and that's all I've done. Yeah,
I was close to mine. I think Descendants one of those bands as well. They don't have many great enders or last songs, but that's definitely the best of them.
It's quite a strong song as well, like in its own right, I think, which is a good sign of a good song and a good last song. So yeah.
Was it Bill who wrote that one? You know?
I have no idea. No, I don't think it was Bill who wrote it, actually.
Because Descendants is one of those bands where like they all kind of have equal songwriting.
Yeah, I don't think he did. For some reason, when I'm thinking about the podcast, I don't think it was Bill who wrote it, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love Bill Stevenson.
Oh, he's a legend.
I was never going to have like a punk rock dinner party guest thing, which is probably a good idea for a podcast episode at some point.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That's cracking.
I'm going to write that down.
I'll be straight in there, mainly because Come Dine With Me. I want Pickled John.
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Cock out.
Yes,
at my dinner table.
But we say, as well as the guests, we have to say what food we're having? I think that'd be a nice little twist.
Oh, that'd be so hard.
I mean, this is a huge digression. I'm very sorry, but I've just started listening to a podcast that apparently is massive. James Acaster and Ed Gamble.
Yes.
Oh, the off menu.
Off
menu. I've just discovered it, and I've been absolutely rinsing it.
It's
and I was
brilliant.
like, oh, there's more podcasts than music ones.
Yeah,
but to get back onto the subject, as you know, Colin, I'm not huge on Descendants, and that's probably just because I've not really listened to them that much. But when I heard Bill Stevenson again on Krista Makes, it nearly ended me. I was like, fuck me. That is harrowing. Yeah,
it is. I watched when Filmage came out, and that's when I first kind of heard the whole story and things, and that really upset me then. And even every time I hear it, because he's so sincere, isn't he, in the way he speaks, and he just comes across as just this wonderful, like, gentle giant. So and he's just, there's no like pretense to him at all, and it's he's just so honest. I just think he's such a nice guy. Yeah, it is really heart-wrenching to hear the story, isn't it?
Because I remember exactly where I was when I was hearing like the worst parts of it. Like, I went on a big walk in the summer and I listened to podcasts and that, and I remember exactly where I was when I was like, I need to take a minute. That's too much for me. Like, and I'm not even that into Descendants. Like, it's just like, if you're a human, it's a hell of a story.
You think of Bill Steven though, you think about all the albums he's like produced and helped make as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and all the bands he's been in. Yeah, he's incredible.
If there was some sort of like, what's the thing in America where they have the presidents on the cliff? What's that called? If they had one of them for punk rock, Bill Stevenson would have to. The one, Mount Rushmore. Bill Stevenson would have to be on there.
There's an idea for another podcast.
Yep, Mount Rushmore.
Whose face do you want on a mountain?
Mount Punkmore.
Cone from the burnt tapes. It's for fun.
Yeah. Like making a face.
Yeah. I've said this on the podcast before about Bill Stevenson. Me and C Rage, we went to see them in London last year. Not last year, maybe the year before. But and like Bill at the end of the second encore, because only the Descendants can get away with having 2 encores. Like came to the front and sort of said thank you, and it was the most genuine, like happy looking man I've ever seen. And how many shows the Descendants have played over?
Yeah, after 45 years or something insane.
Yeah. You think when he's played with like Black Flag and all the other bands he's played with, Only Crime, and just to see a man look that genuinely happy about doing his.
That's what you pay money for, though, isn't it? Like when you see a band, like the number of bands that I've wanted to see, and then the band look like they're jaded, and then there's someone who's been doing it for decades who look like they give a shit.
Yeah,
and it's like that's the people who deserve to be successful.
Too right. So
Totally.
we've got the 20 songs.
21.
21 songs with nameless friends. Let's not forget Malcolm. Probably 22 because Kira Murray, because I probably would have put it in if we hadn't have all just said, yeah, that's probably going to go in.
Yeah, we're so fucking biased. This is not a fair sense. And Lara's not from a specific pocket of South London either. She's like, what? I don't know what they're saying.
What are these guys talking about?
I recommend listening to both of them. Everyone listening, not just Lara. So what would we say is the number one Beth La song?
What were the who appeared more than once?
No band appeared more than once. I mean, on my list I also had Black Me Out, and I had Al's War, and I had Clear the Air.
I mean, so technically 3 of us had Al's War.
And that would have been looking through Les and Jake. That would have been my front runner.
Is that really the best last song ever, though?
I mean, according to our very specific tastes,
yeah. Because I mean, Rockview isn't even my favourite Les and Jake album. So
well, you're clearly wrong.
I've heard this. At least it's not in with the out crowd. Great. Okay, I guess Al's War is, according to us at least, the best last song ever.
Statistically, that's a turn. That is a turn.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I mean, I was surprised that Proud was our best first song, when The Have Not's Proud was what we picked for the best first song ever.
Yeah.
Which is quite niche, really. But
then I'm finding with this one that the last songs are a lot more personal and a lot more random. I certainly wasn't expecting Weezer to pop up.
Sorry,
yeah. Oh, no, it's absolutely fine. It's a seminal album.
But I think that goes to show how the science of how songs are written. You put the bangers first, you put the hits first, and then the songs that the bands want to write are just being, crowbarred in at the end.
Because it's like with songs like Clear the Air and Backseat, especially Backseat, it's like, if you don't like that, then what's wrong with you? Kind of thing. So quite passionate about that. Slow go can take or leave, that's fine. That's it's ska. I'm used to being the underdog in regards to that sort of thing.
I didn't actually pick a ska song. Wow.
I don't think I did on first songs. So I made a point of picking 3 and putting them all against each other on this one.
Fair. Should we run through our honourable mentions as well? I'll run through some of mine because I've got loads. Where is it? Okay, I had Bomb the Music Industry, feature 86. Bouncing Souls, Gone, which is incredible. Captain Arsehole, Clap Your Andy, because I love Captain Arsehole. They're my boys. Catch 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, again, that's another one that's got a bullshit 10 minutes of silence in it, so I never listened to it. But I should have had that.
Yeah, Iron Sheik, Every Town Has an Elm Street, absolute tune.
Awesome. Yeah, great one.
Lawrence Abbs, Like a Record Player. Great song. What else we got? Mustard Plug, Beer Song.
That's also on my honourable mentions for sure.
We've got Pickle Dick, Salamander, because just those 3-part harmonies at the end are incredible. I did not think we'd bring in John from Pickle Dick twice in the podcast, but
I know, bizarre, isn't it? Let's make sure he listens.
Reviver, Change on Me is incredible. RX Bandits, Infection. I'm not a massive RX Bandits fan, but Infection is just an amazing, amazing song. That's one that gets me pumped all the time. One from Emma, she suggested this for us. I can't pronounce his name. Stoichnak, however you pronounce it. And I can't pronounce this song either. Ronkador. It's like the last song on Screamer Songwriter.
That was on my list as well. That was on my
just an incredibly punk rock lullaby. The best way of describing that song.
I got into it 2 weeks ago. I was super late to it, but now I'm just rinsing it.
Amazing. I got Streetlight, Manifesto, The Big Sleep. off their first album, which I think is amazing. And my last one, because I love this band, I miss them dearly, and they should get back together. Wank for Pete, We're Not Done Yet, Sorry, from Fail Forward, which is one of my favourite albums of all time. And that's some of my honourable mentions. I skipped a load out.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're about to rattle off 35 songs.
I mean, they're all bangers. They'll all be on a playlist. You can check the rest out there. But what are your guys' honourable mentions?
I've not got many. I've just got a couple. One of them is Graves by The Colour and Sound. I think they've only ever released 2 EPs, and it's got a banjo in it. Like it's like pop punk. It's pop punk with banjo. I was like, this is incredible.
You know, it also has a banjo. Ship Ahoy by Pickle Dick.
Good point. Also a banger. We're onto a theme. And also very quickly, my Spotify recommended told me to listen to a song called You're Wrong, I'm Drunk by Next Attempt. And I've just been rinsing that one. Follow Your Nightmares, Keep Flying, formerly Survey Says. Very good finish to a very good EP. And also Drones and On a Hide Into Nothing have new albums out. And I listened to both of their last tracks like 4 times in a row, trying to crowbar them into this podcast. But I'm just going to say it now because they're just really good albums and very good tracks.
I believe reviews are being worked on for both of them by various members of my team. Hopefully they'll be out soon.
On a Hide Into Nothing are probably the most underrated UK band. Like, I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Yep. And Al was an original member of Pickle Dick.
There you go. It's the Pickle Dick podcast. Let's go. Let's go to Hampshire and record the next one on location.
John would be an amazing guest for a podcast.
Oh, it'll be another level, mate. It'll be another level.
I don't think I'm ready for that.
Unless any, I'm Facebook friends with him, therefore we're friends. So I'll make sure that this gets in his hands. I'll just be like, just skip to like an hour and 20 minutes. That's when the real juice starts.
Their tour diary of going to China is one of my favourite things on the internet.
Yeah.
Like I think it's in like 6 parts, and try going to China when you're a vegan is enough to make a TV show. But like the whole thing is just amazing. It's Backstage Passport-esque.
All of yours?
That is all of mine.
Okay, Lara, honourable mentions?
No, well, yeah. I had the same as you, Colin. I'd gone Bounce of Souls and Every Town is an Elm Street, Iron Chic as well. Other than that, I had another Weezer song, like Butterfly off Pinkerton, but I think that only really works if you listen to the song that's on before it. So I don't know if it would have made it onto like a last thing. But yeah, those are just my ones. I didn't have like. I was panicking about it because I had like a checklist of what I thought a good song was. I was like, all my songs have to match it. So I was really like specific when I chose my songs. So yeah, those are my honourable mentions.
Awesome.
You overthought it.
I think I did.
I made a playlist in 5 minutes and was like, that's it, I'm going to not think about it. I'm just going to make this down to 5.
I'll do that next time.
Otherwise it'll be chaos.
Mine was essentially just an evening at work thinking of ideas.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing else to do. Yeah.
Making playlists is great.
Yep. Paul, what honourable mentions?
I'll rattle down it alphabetical order. One People, One Struggle, Anti-Flag. In Spite of the World, the Ataris. Nothing to Say, Bedouin Sound Clash for a bit of reggae.
Good shout.
The Fast by the Filaments because it's so epic.
Oh, I had that. Yeah, I got the What's Next on vinyl recently, and that song came on at the end. I was like, this is the best way of finishing this album.
Probably the best song on that album.
Yeah.
What's Her Name? We briefly spoke about. I said A Pack of Dogs by Lightyear was going to be my first pick.
Yes.
But I decided that it's a bit too silly, and I wanted songs that were epic.
I said this to you before. I don't think that should be the last song on that album. Positive Outlook should be the last song on that album. It feels weird that Pack of Dogs is there.
I've got A Place in the Sun by Lit off of the album A Place in the Sun, which is one of the most perfect albums.
Is that the last song on that album?
Yeah, I've seen the album in full twice, and I hope they continue to do that one really good album they did. Kathy Lee Hoder from Pew 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 off Pew Pew Pew. Double Rancid, and also, bizarrely, fairly new Rancid. I've got Other Side off of Indestructible, which is probably one of my favourite Rancid songs. And also Golden Gate Fields, which I just really like. This is Renson signing out for now. See you guys later.
There is my clip for advertising this podcast.
It's a great way to end the album. It's like Tim is talking to us all. This one I mainly put on for Craig Searage Duran, ADD by 10 Foot Pole. And then going back to the very roots of B Sharp, K&B, Treehouse Fire, and Trampled by Your High Horse by Tyrannosaurus Allen. And that concludes my list.
Good shout.
T. Allen was supposed to do some shows last year, weren't they?
Supposed to do Wonkfest,
yeah. I'd love to see them again.
I'll send you this playlist, Colin, and honestly, listen to that and tell me it's not the greatest produced bass drum sound you've ever heard.
From the T. Allen song?
Hits you in the chest. Do you know who produced it? The T. Allen album?
Oh, I do.
Go on, Mike, who was it?
Andy Baker, I believe it.
It was Andy Baker.
Of Andy B in the world.
Yeah, and what an album that is. My favourite album of 2021.
I mean, there's not been many yet. But that is
I mean, it will be my favourite album of 2021. I keep listening to it and it keeps getting better.
It's like, I mean, we spoke about this a lot when we had Pook on, and like, it's just the achievement of 172 musicians.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Like, organising 3 other people for a podcast hurts my head. So, it's incredible. And as we said, it's actually like really good as well. Imagine if it sucked. All that effort. And it wasn't well received.
What a waste of time.
But it's incredible. Hopefully it makes a lot of money for the charities it's raising money for as well.
It's really weird with Andy, because like, even though we've been in the same room many times over the last 20 odd years, like gigs and whatnot, mainly, Fandangle gigs or New Riot gigs or whatever, we only really started talking when Fandangle were going to do their one-off reunion show, and they were like, where should we do it? And everyone tagged in either me or B Sharp or New Cross in. And then me and Andy had each other, was like, I guess we should be friends because it looks like we're going to be doing this show, which we did, and it was obviously phenomenal.
It was really good.
Like the
really
Sponge secret set, like great times.
That was amazing. I mean, I'll go and see Sponge forever, but
yeah, see you in October, mate.
All right, I will be there. Doesn't clash with Fest, does it? If Fest happens.
No, for as much as possible, I'm trying to avoid booking gigs that clash with what I want to do outside of work, which is still gigs, but whatever.
Fair. Okay. So you've heard it here first, folks. The best last song ever, according to us, is "As War" by Less Than Jake. If you want
a terrible decision.
It's a really weird decision.
It's so underwhelming.
It's the 2 greatest words in the English language. Default. Default.
But I mean, my argument is still "Gods" by Davey Dynamite. But as none of you have heard that song, I'm not getting any votes. But
it is, in fact, "Clear the Air" by Off of Their Heads.
That is up there. But if you want to do more podcasts like this, maybe do like cover songs or something like that, let us know in the comments. Or I mean, we might just do it anyway because I'm really running low on ideas. Well, I've got 2 today, so go us. This has been like a good thinking area as well, thinking thought bubble thing.
Yeah, this was particularly hard, so I really enjoyed getting the brain working on it.
Yeah, it was good.
And we've got 2 minutes left. I should really wrap this up before we have to start a new meeting, just to say goodbye. Thank you to Lara. Thank you for Mike. Thank you for Paul for coming and hanging out. It's been a pleasure as always. Lots of fun. I've had a lovely time.
Thank you, Colin.
Been a cracker.
Yes, hopefully we'll be able to see you all soon, or see Paul and Mike soon, and actually meet Lara in the flesh at some point in the future. That'll be nice, wouldn't it?
It'd be cool.
We'll all have a good old merry time at New Cross. Come all the way from Wales.
Yeah.
Come to New Cross. Like, subscribe, follow, read Colin's Punk Rock World. Check out CPRW Records Bandcamp. Check out B Sharp. Like their page for when they are allowed to do gigs again. Like Triple Sundae and check out them on Bandcamp and throw them some money because they are potentially going to Fest this year and will probably need some money to help with that. So buy all of their EPs. And have you got t-shirts on Bandcamp and stuff as well?
No.
Should get Hassan on the podcast. Check out Hassan's new project Luna as well, because that's really, really cool what he's doing. So thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Colin.
Cheers.
Bye.